Earthshock. Earthshock's one you will see on many recommend lists. It's one of the very first classic DVDs I got when I started collecting the stuff, and it's notable for a few reasons. It's the first Cyberman story of the '80s out of the, is it three? Yeah, I think it's, well, not besides their appearance in the Five Doctors. It three stories that they're prominently in. Um, it's notable for being, I know some people who think it is probably Peter Davison's best story of this first season of his. And still one of his best stories. It's very good as an action piece for Doctor Who at the time. The action stuff is very good. It's not really a hard science fiction story. It's more of a sci-fi action kind of story. Like, the Cybermen themselves are there, and there's a kind of a kooky idea with time travel. The Cybermen themselves in it are very odd. It's it's not. Here's one thing you usually hear when people bring up if this is good or not, when this is good. Even if they like it, they will say that this isn't the best. It's by far nowhere near the worst interpretation of them, but it's not the best. I lay that down to the fact that you have the cyber controller in this, because the Cybermen are basically supposed to be cold, emotionless creatures who never show any kind of emotion. Then the cyber leader, I called him controller earlier, the cyber leader is constantly going, excellent. Like, he's somehow twirling his mustache, even though he has none. He doesn't have one. Like, he's kind of acting, he's acting. He has, like, joy out of causing all this insane misery that's not supposed to be it, but yet it's fun as hell to see a robot enjoy himself. Excellent. And again, I do like him. I do also love the fact that at the beginning the mask, the mouth part of the mask was clear, so you can see the human part talking. Because the thing is, they weren't what they were at the beginning of the new show. Now they're kind of going back to what they used to be. But in the new show, they're just brains put into robot bodies. Here, they're upgraded humans. They, like, maybe put them in a suit by now, but the idea is there's still a human there, and this was supposed to show that there is, like, human pieces still in there. They eventually had to spray paint over it because the battery pack and the helmet that makes the speaker sound was slipping and was in clear view of it, and it looked like some sort of weird metal loogie was appearing in the mask. So they had to eventually spray paint over that, and never physically showed them like that ever again, which again sucks, but whatever. I guess that's, you have to make changes where you can. And their plan to end to just destroy the Earth is a little on the insane side. Like they literally, like, and in the best part, going back to the cyber leader, there's a small setback, but he's just like, perfect. That worked even better. Like God, he's happy. I'm gonna go to the supporting cast. The supporting cast is interesting, to say the least. Like, the main kind of troop of people, the guys in the helmets with the guns, they're somewhat basic. I don't know. Like, their characters on the page didn't really jump at me, but they were still putting some very fun. They were putting some. The actors themselves were having a ball. I could tell. They were. They completely made you believe that they're fighting something serious. Yes, they insanely 80s. My God, they looked incredibly 80s. And it also helps that, God, those helmets are used a lot. But, they reused the hell out of those helmets for the rest of the show. Proof that you can do whatever the hell you want. And I liked them, but that's the thing. I don't know what to tell you. And then there's let's see. I'm trying to think. You know what? There's more detail I forgot to bring up, and I feel so stupid for this. I do love the fact that it was, and the thing is, I did forget about this because this is regarded as a Cyberman story, but when it originally aired, this was a cool twist. Unless you did not see the DVD cover of this movie, the twist was instantly ruined for you. But it was made a mystery that the Cybermen are in it, and I thought it was a really cool build-up. And I still love the way they did the twist ending to this thing. That it's them. I also love the fact that they use archive footage of doctors they faced. Not all the previous doctors, because they never fought Pertwee. But I love the fact that they used the clips of them facing the Cybermen. Only because they didn't do that a lot. They really weren't concerned about referencing the past a whole lot. Because at this point the show was close to 20 years old, so it seemed like referencing that stuff for a lot of people who probably didn't even see the show at the time would have been kind of confusing. But it's cool that they put in nuggets like that for people who know the show, or knew it then and definitely can know it now because we have the internet to help you. Hell, that's how I know the show. But okay, now back to what else? I'm trying to remember acting wise. She was like the leader of the ship, and I'm so fucking blanking on her name right now, and I feel stupid. It wasn't. Was it Professor Kyle? No, that was one of the people. Again, that's the thing. Like, I didn't like her character enough to where, like, her picture's up right now. I know it is. She's like kind of an old lady who just wasn't that, like, and even on, because there's another making of documentary on the DVD, even they agree that she was probably better off, like, far away from this. It's not that she was a bad actress, it's just that for some reason she just wasn't clicking with the role she was given. I don't know, I think it was just a case of she couldn't just say this dialogue seriously. Like, it's clear that she was, she's more used to doing serious, down-to-earth stuff. And, having to do a story where she has to constantly say those Cybermen are breaking through the hall door, I'm guessing threw her off, and she just could not take it seriously. And I don't blame her, but I think it was Captain. Yes, it was Captain Briggs. I finally found it. I feel smart. I have a page helping me out because I really wanted to know her name. Again, she just wasn't that impressive. I don't want to blame the actress. I don't know if it was a writing thing or if it's an actress thing, but she just wasn't that big. And the thing is, she's a major part of the character. And now to the main cast. I like Davison's on his best here. I think he found his Doctor finally in here. He by now definitely is comfortable with the role. Looks at the Cybermen with an insane amount of fear, and handles them very carefully. The best way to say it, he knows their threat. He wants to stop them as fast as possible. And another detail I want to look at is the opening scenes with him and Adric. Adric. Now, it's not a big secret to people who know, but Adric's a hated it. Adric was like the prototypical version of Wesley Crusher. Like, he is the boy genius that not a lot of people like. I am in that front. He's an insanely insufferable character, played by someone who could not act at all to save his life. Even Matthew Waterhouse is on my side on this one. And it's just like, for people who hate Adric, this is notable for a big thing. Uh, and I did put spoiler warning up front because in all honesty, the event itself is big, but this is the story where Adric dies. And the thing, you can't really do a deep analysis without spoiling this, but Adric does die in this. This is honestly what little I've seen with this character, and I've now seen a fair amount of stories with this character, both with Tom Baker and with Davison. This is honestly the closest you get to the character being good. They at least use his mathematical skill. Like, they knew they were going to kill him, and they tried to basically build him up, put him on a pedestal. And I'm kind of okay with that. Like, he could obviously be useful. They just didn't make him useful half the time. When they tried to make him useful, he was incredibly insufferable. Here, his death is notable. His death is more notable for the fact that a companion died, and that he was also a very young child at the time. It wasn't that this character died. It was that a companion died. It was very rare. Companions who traveled with the Doctor usually got somewhat of a happy ending and got to leave and live their life. And I know Faerie Kingdom kind of gets mixed in there, but I don't know the character enough, and I don't want to start a flame war. But that's the thing about this death that's kind of disappointing, is that the fact that it's the death of a companion, but it's like one of the most hated companions in the show's history. So there's that fact that, yeah, this is an important moment that you should look at, but unfortunately it's kind of dealt out to be insanely hilarious because it's that character. Like, again, see, Doctor Who won in the end, Star Trek Next Generation. They killed their annoying brain boy. See? Take that. Now, moving on to the other two characters, Nyssa and Tegan. I like Nyssa and Tegan. I generally think Nyssa is an interesting character. It also helps that she's fucking cute as hell back in the day. And plus, she's been in a couple of really good big finishes, and I really love her character. I just got done listening to Circular Time during work today, and loved it. Loved her. She's very good. That's the thing. If they actually put more writing, more character stuff into these people, you might have liked them. They do some things, but it's more or less just following people around and kind of doing the basic, what's that? Or, oh dear God, what's that? Nothing really big. But I can't say I hated them. I thought they were fine in this. But they just didn't leave a huge impression. Like, Adric at least did stuff and was useful and had a notable part of the story. Nyssa and Tegan are just there, but I'm not annoyed that they're there. And like I mentioned, this is again, I really liked this. It was a really good story. The Cybermen themselves were well done. There's a couple cool scenes where you see them like emerging out of like kind of chambers and pulling over plastic and being very menacing, in all honesty. And like they literally dedicate a couple minutes to a fight scene between them and the humans trying their best to stop them. And it's, again, not their best. And it's not just because the cyber leaders just it's kind of a weird thing. On the face of it, the concept should piss you off, but the thing is, you love him so much. He's awesome. Yeah, this definitely deserves a very notable story. It's one that I think is a very good story. A very good story to start with. You don't need an incredible amount of backstory to understand the story. You see Davison, work his ass off, and the Doctor basically acting his best to show you this is a threat. With the exception of Captain Briggs, the supporting cast is pretty good. They at least treat the giant alien robot threats seriously, and they don't seem as like, I don't know. I think they go back to it. They are treating it like she's in a show, and she's treating it like she's in some sort of goofy thing where she's not entirely sure where she is. They at least know that they're in this somewhat insane story. But yeah, I really do recommend this as a story just to start out with for new people.